behind the scenes, how recruiters, headhunters make their selections, basically when it comes to hiring people, basically. So that would be the aim of the conversation. We'll talk to you a little bit about ourselves, what we do, what I do, a bit about the market, a bit about the soft skills, what you really need to possess these days to get hired, how do you network, how do you get on the radar of recruiters, and also a bit about reskilling, upskilling, what these terms mean, and how can you actually do that. And then we'll have a little bit of time at the end, hopefully, for some question and answers. I'm with an organization called Cormis Partners. We are a boutique executive search firm. What that means is that we are working with organizations like a Boeing or a Luton Airport or an Emirates, and we're fulfilling their needs on the talent side of things. So if an organization needs a chief technical officer or a marketing leader or a legal counsel, then we go out in the market, map the market, come back to them with 3 or 4 or 5 options, and help them with assessing those individuals, and then hopefully make a placement at the end of that. So we're not on the side of the candidate, but it's entirely client driven, what we do. And we do a lot of management, like interim management work as well. That means that these are individuals who are only joining an organization for a certain period of time, 3, 6, 12 months, to solve a particular issue or a problem within that business. So short-term assignments. We're based in London, but what we do is helping European organizations expand in other geographies, in North America, Latin America. We work quite a lot in the Middle East as well. Just to give you a snapshot of the organizations that we typically work with, you will see it's not only aviation, it is part of it, but it's the broader transportation space, industrial infrastructure, the energy space has been quite active. So it really is a broad range of things. Aviation is part of it, but it's certainly not all of it, basically. So wanted to give you really an overview of what we are seeing when it comes to the employment market, when it comes to the job market, particularly in the Middle East. Obviously, we've been seeing large recruitment drives due to the sudden operational increases in the region, beyond the airlines and the airports that are obviously in need of ground crew, but also cabin crew, pilots, of course. A lot of them are struggling to hire enough of them. We are seeing quite a lot of the MROs, the maintenance, repair, and overhaul market being quite active, both on the airframe, engine, component, and interior manufacturing side of things. They are all hiring. Some of the key players you can see here, Etihad, Emirates are all very active again. But also Collins Aerospace, Boeing is quite big in the region. Thales have been hiring as well, mainly on the senior operational technical front. So if you're studying engineering, if you're studying anything technical related, mechanics related, you have really good chance of securing something, because they really do hire at all levels now that the market is bouncing back and there is more confidence in the market in the Middle East, in the GCC. So it's not only the UAE, but also Qatar, also Oman, also the Saudi Arabia, that have really picked up in terms of countries that are hiring. We are also seeing quite a lot of quite a bit of increase when it comes to compensation levels at all seniority levels, by the way. A lot of people are demanding more and getting more when it comes to money. So not a bad time to be on the market. Some of the most in-demand roles and functions that we are seeing are certainly in the finance, in the HR space, technology, anyone with digital transformation skill set, someone who has been through turnaround, that's particularly sought after at the senior end, but when it comes to the more junior level, it's again engineering, mechanics, but again pilots, even the cadets are being incredibly sought after now that the fleets are getting back into operation at places like Emirates, Qatar, Oman Air as well, Etihad. I think it's not a bad time to be looking. We are also seeing quite a lot of demand for commuting options, especially when it comes to mid to senior level people. That's really important because a lot of them are not really interested in relocating on a full-time permanent basis. A lot of people are hoping to secure roles that allow them to do the back and forth between Europe or Asia or North America even. So what we are also seeing is that candidate experience during the hiring process is really important. It's really tough to attract quality talent at the moment. So the way you treat your candidates plays an incredibly important role. So just because you're a Thales or a Boeing or a big brand in the Middle East, you can't really rely on it because the brand itself is not going to attract the same quality people that it used to before the pandemic. So that's what I would say about the market trends. We are seeing, of course, a steady recovery in the region. Business travel is coming back as well. I think cautious optimism. I think that's how I would describe the market conditions, not only in the Middle East but also in the broader global marketplace. So how do you really get hired? This is, I think, these are the things that I would like to really just focus on during this session. What are hiring managers, recruiters, headhunters are looking for? I think it's really important to make sure that you differentiate and you understand the distinction between hard and soft skills. So hard skills are the ones that are really they concern your ability to do a specific task. They can be basically things like your specialized knowledge, whether it's technical abilities, your accounting, legal expertise, software development. It's quite easy to define and it's quite easy to assess, but when it comes to two candidates who are identical on paper, we really need to go and dig a little bit deeper and really make sure that we assess their soft skills, which really relate to your ability to connect and interact with others. Basically, these skills include things like emotional intelligence, adaptability, collaboration, and they are typically more difficult to measure as well in an interview setting. And but they can really help you to set yourself apart from the competition and really gain an edge and differentiate yourself. So, what are these things that people are really after at the moment? I would really start with adaptability. It's things like can you work unsupervised? For example, are you good at effective time management? Can you keep the lines of communication with people who are not in the same space or in the same office as you are? Can you be productive while working on your own? This is really critical because obviously a lot has changed between 2020 and now. A lot of people are working from home. A lot of people are working remotely, and employers really need to be convinced by your ability that you are going to be able to really adapt to this changed situation that is happening all over the world, basically. Another one that I would really highlight is foresight and forward thinking. I think that's critical at the moment. I think an awful lot of organizations are still going through a lot of change over the past few months and over the past couple of years. Employers have been under a tremendous amount of pressure to keep their business afloat, and they're really looking for people who can see, who have the ability to see and identify future trends and opportunities and customer needs even. And those skills really spotting market trends, having the mindset of how can we make the most of the current situation and turn it into our advantage. I think that's critical, and this is really viewed favorably by businesses in all sectors, not only in aviation, aerospace, but beyond it. And a lot of organization, what we're seeing is they decided to intentionally hire new blood. They took this the pandemic and the past sort of 24 months, 28 months. To really refresh their skill set, their organization, and went out in the market to get really fresh ideas, fresh perspectives, and to get their existing workforce to think differently and strategically, positively. So just bear that in mind. So another one that I would really highlight and I would like to draw your attention to is composure. This is your ability to keep your emotions in check, even in very difficult situations. Employers at the moment are really looking for people who are not angry, not anxious, not emotional, not overly stressed. You really need to appear emotionally solid in an interview setting, in an assessment setting. I think this is a great way to set yourself apart from the competition. A lot of people get very anxious. A lot of people get very um, um, emotional when it comes to hiring situations or assessment situations. If you can keep your cool, you are going to get a much better chance of getting hired. And this is true even in times of virtual interviews and virtual assessments. So really, your ability to to keep your emotions in check. This is what this one means. Another one is gravitas that I would like to highlight. This is your confidence in your ability of your knowledge, your abilities, your skills. This is your ability to win over people. I think this is really important because uh, they are assessing you on things like, can you influence a team? Can you influence your team members, your superiors? Essentially, can you convey knowledge in a concise way as well? How do you communicate? How do you come across? Those are the nuanced things that recruiters are really looking for at the moment, because these are the things that a CV or a cover letter or an online form that they ask you to fill out as part of the hiring process will never convey, basically. So just bear that in mind. Another one is obviously resilience. This is your ability to handle challenges and bounce back from setbacks. There are a lot of those that are happening for all sorts of reasons. As a leader, either now or at a later stage, you must be able to remain balanced even when you face resistance. And this is really it has to do with executive presence, your ability to really um, remain confident and and handle criticism. I think this is really important. This is what I'm looking for at all levels, by the way, at junior level, mid-level, but also at senior level. This is one of those core values, core skills that every company, regardless of sector, are looking for at the moment. The other one is awareness and resonance. I think this is huge. This is a combination of self-awareness and awareness of others. Can you really read people's signals and see how they react to you? Can you put yourself into the shoes of your interviewers, understand how they are feeling, how they are being impacted by the world around them, and about you as well? Um, I think you really need to be able to read their mindset of the business owner, the HR manager, the recruiter, and show them that you can relate to their issues and you can help them. I think this is one of those things that a lot of people overlook. This is where you show your vulnerability. This is how you demonstrate your empathy. This is where you can show your concerns and awareness and create that resonance with your audience that will really set you apart from those who are just desperate to get a job and get in somehow. I think these are the nuanced things that no one will really not a lot of people talk about. I think these are the behind the scenes sort of considerations that search professionals or recruiters, hiring managers are really emphasizing at the moment. And I think it's really important that you bear these things in mind. Another thing that I wanted to cover with you quickly is how do you really get on the radar of recruiters? How do you position yourself? How do you brand yourself? I get a lot of questions from people in the industry, outside of the industry, at all seniority levels. How do I really make sure that I get my brand out there, so to say? Um, I think one of the things you really need to think about is what is your brand? What would you like to be identified as, defined by? What would you like to your name to be associated with? I think that's step number one. What do you stand for? Step number two, what industry expertise do you possess? You really need to go sit down with a piece of paper and you really need to make sure that you have uh, this clear in your mind, in your head. What do you want to be known for again? And then you need to really articulate your mission, define your audience. Who do you want to um, appeal to? Is it the aviation sector? Is it the broader infrastructure space? Is it the manufacturers, the airlines? Um, you really need to utilize social media. You need to really not just have a good LinkedIn profile, but also actively create content because this is what recruiters, especially at senior level, are looking for. This is how you create awareness around your personal brand. Basically, this is how you really need make sure that people are aware of you. They know that you exist, and they can keep an eye out for you, even if it's not for now, but maybe in 2, 3 years' time, when you become relevant for them, they can really just remember, oh, this is the person who's putting out content, who's really commenting on things, who's really active out there. I think when you get to this stage, it's really worth speaking at industry events, really worth creating a blog guest post. Again, this is how you raise awareness when it comes to your own brand. And this is one of the best ways that people who are really uh, keen to be one step at a time and think outside of their roles, outside of their current responsibilities, are doing really well. I think these are the things that um, can really differentiate you, because be sure recruiters hiring people are checking you out left, right, and center when it comes to social media, when it comes to Facebook, LinkedIn, things like that. So really just be careful what you put out there, because people can really just make a snap decision as to whether to engage with you or give you a call based completely on what they say online about you. So careful what you put out there. And again, one of the best ways to get on the radar, if not the best one, is to become a source of information. Help them, even if they contact you about something that is not relevant to you now. Think about with the long term in mind. Be a connector. Help them in their quest to find the relevant talent or the right talent, basically. So just make sure that you um, um, uh, have this. How can I help you, so that maybe when you are working on something that is relevant for me in 2, 3 years down the line, I will be on top of mind. Basically, that's the mindset that you really need to develop. It really doesn't matter at what stage of your career you are in. Just bear that in mind. Another thing that I wanted to mention to you and spend some time on is the topic of reskilling and upskilling. I think these are words that we hear left, right, and center. I think a lot of people are not really aware of what these mean. Reskilling is essentially when you gain an entirely new set of skills. Basically, it's really reskilling is about learning new skills for a new position. Basically, it's training on an entirely new area to prepare you to take on different roles within the company. And upskilling is expanding your current skill set. So unlike reskilling, which involves a 180-degree pivot, upskilling occurs when you improve your existing skills and deepen your abilities and impact within your area of expertise. Essentially, that's the difference between the two. So how do you nurture your soft skills? It's about showing initiative at work and really finding ways to add value, to get involved with things, even on a voluntary basis, and really taking the initiative, going out of your way to help the organization in ways that are well beyond your job description. Basically, that would be getting a mentor, someone who really can spend time every month, every 2 months, to really just give you some advice, give you some tips as to how they did it, how they um, 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 steered their career at the stage of life um, where you are in, basically. So a mentor, even if it's outside of the organization, and especially if it's outside of the organization, it can be really, really helpful. Basically, it plays a very important part. Or if you can get a sponsor who can advocate for you within your business, that's even better, because that's how you can really get promoted within your own organization, and that's how you can line up for overseas assignments, things like that, basically. So don't underestimate the importance of a mentor or a sponsor for yourself. Develop your EQ, the emotional intelligence. We talked about this briefly. Your awareness, your communication skills. I think it's so important these days, because this is exactly how we differentiate between a good candidate and some who's just good on paper, and someone who can actually really we can relate to, and who's going to be excellent when it comes to really doing the job itself and integrating into the team, developing into the team, because we all hire people that we really feel that we can um, uh, enjoy working with, basically. And again, gaining leadership skills doesn't matter what stage of your career you are at. You can do this either within your organization, or you can go outside and gain it with organizations such as the society. I would really encourage you to get involved. There are so many ways to really add value, not only to the organization, but people who are involved with it. And I think just think outside of the box. It doesn't really have to be a paid gig to count. It can be really something that have absolutely nothing to do with the aviation industry. You can do something that is related to your hobby, related to your other interests outside of work. Can be charities, non-profit organizations. I think just think outside of the box, because you can sell leadership experience in a not-for-profit sort of context as well, basically, to future um, employers. How do you upskill your hard skills? I think it's basically, don't underestimate really the many free or low cost trainings that are out there. Getting certified. Don't go too overbroad, or don't go too crazy. Just really be very critical. Only sign up for things that actually add value to the stuff that you would like to do in the future. Project management is one of the things that people have really benefited from doing those short courses, agile, things like that are basically relevant, things that are practical. Those are the ones that I would really encourage people to do. That things that add value. And most importantly, beyond getting certified, beyond getting a training, or let alone doing a degree, just be very cautious about doing degrees just for the sake of doing degrees, especially postgraduate degrees, MScs and MBAs. What employers are looking for is tangible um, uh, prove that you've actually used those skill sets that you gained in a course, certification, whatever it is. So freelance, contracting, um, put those things into practice at all levels, because this is a lot of people ask me, how do I gain leadership experience? How do I get from A to B within my organization? Well, go out there and really just gain the experience by offering your services for free for people who need it in or outside of the organization. And this is how you network. This is how you get known within the business, and this is how people get from A to B. That would be my top tip. So careful with training. Only do things that actually add value, that are relevant to where you would like to get to. So this is, in a nutshell, what I wanted to really highlight for you. I didn't want to just do a constant monologue. I think the added value to you, the audience, would be to really just answer any questions and